Hello, Blake Hart here. I'm excited about this. Just wanted to talk a little bit about Scaler 2. The release was just a few days ago, and Scaler really opened up a lot of opportunity for me when it came to song creation. So I have to say it is one of the most powerful tools I have come into contact with, so I felt compelled to make this video since I'm pretty excited about Scaler 2. Link to Scaler 2 is below. Here's the information from Plugin Boutique. So if you're doing an upgrade, it's $19. So if you already own Scaler 1, and if you're buying it new, you've never owned it before, it's $49, which I believe was the cost of Scaler 1 as well if you were buying it new. It is an awesome plugin. Let's dive into it, and I'm going to talk a little bit about how I use it. Link is below. If you use that link, it supports the channel. Plugin Boutique gives me a little bit of a tip for sending you their way, no extra cost to you. So I thank you if you use that link to go ahead and head over to Plugin Boutique, whether you buy Scaler or you buy anything else. So let's take a look at this, and we'll talk about some of the newer features, but just even like in general, what is Scaler and how do I use it? I love the window here. I believe it was resizable in the other in Scaler 1, so that's not a big deal. There's new VSTs, so sounds, instruments. There's new instruments to use, so that's one of their things that they're talking about. This felt piano is pretty nice. The way it sounds. So in Scaler, what you can do a lot of different things, but the basic thing is you can say you want to be in a certain scale and then find all the chords that are in that scale. So all notes, but let's say we go into A major, we can see that these are our options for chords, and then we can pull them into this little area here. And however you want, I have a rest in between, and then we have this chord progression, and then we can drag that into our DAW and have the MIDI for those chords. So for somebody that doesn't know music theory, and even for people that do, this is a great way to explore different scales and find different chords, and those maybe which you are not familiar with. And for me, it's also been helpful for learning more theory and how things work. So the program is a bit more robust than that. You have saved chord sets that artists have put together and random people. So you have those, which is pretty cool. MG the Future has some chords here. As I've talked about in the past, I have chord packs from him, which he's put together, which is really cool. So you can buy third-party, people put together some chord packs. You can save your own chord set here as well, so that you can pull that up at another point in time. So it's pretty cool in the sense that it gives you ideas, but it also gives you the ability, once you know a song, once you hear a song that you want to maybe do a remix to or whatever, how to find the chords. Okay, so one of the new things in this is this detect feature where you can drop in some audio and it will tell you what the chords are. I'm going to tell you, I haven't had the best experience with that, so I don't think it's a strong point of the software. But basically, you can say your source is audio. You just literally bring something from your desktop on, you drop it in, it'll give you this option about telling you it's going to figure out the chords or whatever. You say yes, and it tells you. Hasn't been the best, so I'm not gonna, to me, it's I don't even want to torture it by doing that. It's just not fair. Maybe for some basic songs it works, but it hasn't been great for me. Does some other stuff up here. So there's this perform option where there's different expressions that you can choose. So when you hit just a key, I'm hitting one key, it's doing this. That's accento. So there's all these different choices, right? You can pick one and see what happens. So I'm just holding down a key, but if you hold down a chord, So just, that's me just holding down a chord. That's all I'm doing, is just clicking here and holding it down. So you have this ability now to get more complex rhythms going. And when you export, you know, let's say you have this chosen and you export this chord, or this chord set, you're going to, and I'll show you, and actually we'll show you how to do this. I mean, we'll do it a few times, but you hit this drag button, you just drag it into your timeline here. You can see that it's totally drug what was going on there. And let's we'll open it up and look at the MIDI a little bit here. And so you can see, obviously it has a little bit more robust flavor to it, and that's all up to you in terms of how you want, you know, your chord progression to sound. But it's pretty cool because there's a lot of different choices up here that you can play around with and see how they sound. This is on the chord, but you can just do it on the scale. This you can see, you can choose how, like, ×1, ×2, like how much you want. And then this expressions, I believe, was always here, arpeggio strumming, so that's not new. There's a key lock feature, so I mean that's sort of cool. It basically, if you're in a key, it can show you like what's not and won't allow you to play it. So you can only play the notes that are in the key, and choose how you want that to express itself too. So that's there. Voice grouping. So this again adds a little bit more flavor to your chords. Oops. Can change. So that's a neat way to add some interesting stuff. And so here, humanize, velocity, timing, both. So this makes it a little more human. I'm going to drag this out. I'm just curious. I see the velocity here, but I'm not, and maybe there's a setting. Oh, there. Sorry guys, I didn't zoom in enough. But yes, indeed, we have the timing as well. So velocity and the timing. So it took that one chord there and that chord and offset the top. So that's nice. I mean, you don't have to do it by hand. I'm curious though. Look at that. Got a little bug there. That one's sitting up. And let's look over here because I bet you can work on that and what that means. Yeah, mode. So I'd be curious if you could actually change that a little bit in the sense of the sensitivity. But I don't see that option there. So you can see all these choices are all over here in the settings. Let's see, maybe it's there. Nope, that's how you want to see everything. The one cool thing is you can turn this DAW sync on so that it actually will run, these chords will play with my DAW. So we'll take that out of there. So when I just press play on my DAW, I'm hearing the chords I have in there, which is cool. Like I don't have to, I can try things out and I don't have to keep popping back into there. So that's nice. All right. So there's some other things here as well. So let's see if I can remember how it all works. Patterns. Okay. So saving patterns. So, you might want to, okay, you have something for your intro, you have something for your verse, you have something for your chorus. You can actually create these in here, which is so cool. So let's say this is pattern 1. I have this. Let's say I want to create a new pattern. I can do that too. So hold on here. I don't know why. I must have clicked something. So go to pattern 2. Let's say I want to. So let's say something 2, and you can actually, you can just double click in here, and you can just rename it so that you can keep these straight. So that's pretty cool. And then I can look at all these together. So I can see like this is my verse, this is my chorus, and take a look at all them together. So that's pretty cool too. And just, the list goes on. You can do a bunch of things there. So So I enjoyed that. I think it will come in useful, come in pretty handy. So the other cool thing is if you hit this edit button here, so you can hit edit, you have the ability under each one of these chords to toggle separately octave, so inversion, semitone, duration, repeat. So this also really helps you structure how you want these chords to be represented. So let's go back to the verse. And let's say I want this particular one to repeat twice or 3 times. And then I want my B minor to repeat twice. Let's go 3 times and let's go twice. This is so random, but I just want to show you how cool this is. And then the playback stuff you can choose down here too. Having this power underneath each chord, I think is just really cool. So you can play with all that stuff and then you can just drag it in and it's going to represent those. Let me actually, so the thing is now I've got this following my chords, in Scaler, because I have that DAW sync. So I have to turn that one off or else that's really annoying. So you can see it's playing it 3 times, 2 times. So I think that's pretty cool. I think that's a function that I'm going to use. The other thing that they have in here that I think is new, so let's get out of that edit mode there, is this MIDI capture. So if you click this MIDI capture, it's going to be recording everything you do. Be helpful if I turn it back on. So once you do that, you can stop it and then you can take that and just drag it out. And so it's going to, this is everything I just played. Even though I didn't have the key mapping on. So it's not all in key. But so that's a strong point. Like again, if I don't know if any of you use Play from Captain Chords, like, and that gives you the ability to come up with melodies that are in your particular scale. So I think that's a similar idea. Also, I mean, you could use it for chords. You can use it for anything. It's capturing any of the MIDI that is coming through here and then allowing you to drag it in. But again, you have to activate it and tell it that you want to do that. I think that's all the big stuff. So for me, this is what starts my songs, right? I come in here, I have an idea of like, okay, well, what kind of scale do I want to hop into? You know, let's say we go into like a C minor scale and I see, okay, these are the chords that are on a C minor scale. And then I listen and I think, so what do I want, you know? And it's what inspires my song. And I go from there, and it's cool. They tell you all the styles here, right? So you have an idea of a particular scale, what kind of style it is, what kind of feel it's going to give you when you use that scale, this is so powerful for me in my creation. So let's say I've got these chords down, you know, and let's say that's how I want them to be. So I can just drag them in. And this is the starting point of my song. And I go from here. So now I have my chords. So then I would go and come up with a melody. I could do something different with these chords. Like once I know what they are, I save the scalar track on here. And let's say I open Keyscape and I was like, okay, I know that these are the chords that I have. So I just plug them into the Keyscape and just go from there and create. And for me, doing that opened up so many doors, because before that, like, you can use Machine and you can just you can go into like different chord sets and stuff. But I don't think I was understanding how everything came together. And when I started using this program, like, I had a lot of aha moments. No, I don't know music theory still. Like, it's not like I can say, oh, I know music theory. But this helps me learn a little. And it just helps me get past that hump of like just not being able to put everything together in my head. So here I can get my scale, I can get my chords together. I can start creating my melody, I can do my bass, like off of this I can do everything. And then just like I said, the fact that you can, you know, go hop into some other chords that somebody put together, like, and get some of these, you know, weird chords that maybe, yeah, like I could probably have dug through here and maybe come up with this, but how quick is this? Somebody else came up with the chords just to, you know, put in there, like, and even like MG came off with some chords that are like out of that scale but that still fit, which is sort of cool too, right? And then like in here there's a ton of stuff. One thing I noticed in here, I don't think there's one woman listed in here, so that is one thing I want to point out. I could be wrong because some of these names like Might Kiss, for all I know that's a woman, but when I Sound Candy, that could be a woman too. But when I'm just looking at this and seeing names, it's not sticking out to me like, oh cool, there's some women in there. Just want to point that out, scalar development people. So yeah, so you can hop in here and like, I don't know, what's Scott Diaz 1 have to offer? So it's cool that you're not starting from nothing. And then the other thing that we have is the songs types, right? So like, let's say I want to look for some jazzy stuff. So I click on that. So it's pretty cool. It gets you moving, it gets you going. And I can't say enough good things about Scalar because it is really what, I mean, seriously, this is what helps me just keep moving, like get momentum, keep moving. And it is a part of almost every single song that I do, either Scalar or Captain Chords, because that's the big question, right? Well, how is Scalar different than Captain Chords? To me, sometimes it's just Scalar is just not as busy. There's a lot going on in Captain Chords. Captain Chords 5 came out, so I'm definitely going to do a video about that because I also think that is a wonderful tool and has helped me extremely. But I use, you know, I sort of vary when I use them. Again, it mixes things up a little bit. But for somebody like me, both of those tools opened up a whole new world. And that's why I say, like, for those of you out there who may be watching this video who just feel like daunted by music creation, but it's something you really want to do, it's something you really want to get good at and just make your own music, please know that these tools make that possible. Make that possible for anyone. There does not have to be a wall blocking you from doing this like there was for me 10 years ago. This is amazing, this technology and the opportunity which it presents, right? The barrier to entry has been lowered extensively. So take advantage of these tools. Thank you guys for watching. If you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, what are you waiting for? Go ahead, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell so you get a notification when I have new videos out. And thank you guys for tuning in today. I really, really appreciate it. Link to Scalar 2 is below, so use that link. And I'll see you again shortly.